We're live apparently. Hello, and welcome. We are quite tired. I'm very yawny this evening. Very kind of yawny. I don't know why because it's not been it's not been that bad today. I've not been at work that much. I had a good day, but I'm feeling tired. I don't know if it's Twitch. I don't know if it's Twitch taking its toll because we've been doing this for 21 days solid, and it's been a good time. Honestly, it has been a good time. I have enjoyed myself thoroughly. We'll talk about that at the back half. Should we just go straight in and be like, yo, what's on Twitch today on Twitch? What's on Doctor Who today on Twitch? Well, you've got your last little part of Dragonfire, and you've got the Happiness. Can't speak. We're one thing in, and I can't even speak. Happiness Patrol, 3 episodes. Silver Nemesis, 3 episodes. Greatest Show in the Galaxy, 4 episodes. Battlefield, 4 episodes. Curse of Fenric, 4 episodes. And Big Survival, 3 episodes. So, yeah, it's happening. I dearly hope the sound's on. I imagine it is. Let me just press buttons and see if it is. Yeah, right. So, yeah, you're in your solid stuff, McCoy. I quite like a lot of his first season episodes, but they are quite mixed. But his later season episodes, his later 2 seasons, whatever his later, I can't remember if it's a season or 2 seasons he has, they are really quite solid Classic Who. They're some of the best that Classic Who has to offer. If there wasn't some sort of embargo in place, you'd probably be watching Remembrance. You'd be watching Remembrance of the Daleks tonight. And yeah, you'd probably think a lot better about McCoy if you got to see that in the stream. I'm not bitter. I'm not even twisted. I just think it's a bit of a shame that you're not getting to see some of his best work. But the Happiness Patrol is very much like the one where they fight Thatcher, because it's this female villain, this dictator on a planet, and she's very much just like Doctor Who Thatcher. And the Happiness Patrol is the one with the Candyman. And the Candyman gets a lot of flack because he's a Bertie Bassett kind of character. He's literally Bertie Bassett, but like kind of portrayed as a scary Doctor Who monster. And I feel like a lot of people from like the 90s and the early 2000s would give him a lot of flack because it's like, oh look, it's this Bertie Bassett. Look, I'm meant to be scared of Bertie Bassett. Candyman's a fantastic villain. Like he's exactly like the level of Doctor Who villain you want. Like he's silly, but most of Doctor Who is silly, and there's nothing wrong with that. And Candyman's like gross as well. Like he's Bertie Bassett, but he's like a kind of like monstrous cannibal, like evil scientist, like scientist for the evils that just happens to be Bertie Bassett. And I always loved his design, like because he's like a kind of grungy Bertie Bassett. He's like Bertie Bassett if he was like a 40k monster or villain. So yeah, I got to see Happiness Patrol for the first time last year on Twitch, because I've never seen the DVDs around. I never seemed to see the Happiness Patrol about, but I don't know if it was one of those later gen episodes that didn't get put out until a bit recently. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well done. It dragged in a few places, but it was good. It was like solid kind of the Doc and Ace work, and I feel like there's like good music in the episode, which is something you don't usually say about Classic Who. It's usually it's got experimental music if you're being kind to it. But yeah, that like what I remember of it, other than just like the Candyman needs to come back. Like, yeah, like I'm very much dying on the hill of bring back the Rani and also just do another episode with a Candyman. I don't think Chibnall's the man to do that necessarily, but I think now's the time. Like we are overdue a return of both the Rani and the Candyman. Not because they're good concepts, but because like what else are you gonna do at this point? Just yawny. But Happiness Patrol was good because like it's just the Doctor versus Thatcher. Timely for the 80s. I'm very likely to just say like watch like all of my picks of tonight. I'll probably just be every episode because they are quite bangers. That said, I like Silver Nemesis, but it's very much kind of the exact same thing as Remembrance of the Daleks, but nowhere near as good. It's got there's like a scene where like one of the characters time travels via black magic, and it's not really explained why. I want to say maybe it comes up in Battlefield, but when we get to Battlefield, you'll find out I've never like watched Battlefield, so I don't know. But because there's a whole thing about the Doctor being Merlin. Uh, it's a weird thing that Seven has, but you know how he's like this kind of overarching grand master of stuff. There's a whole thing about him being Merlin, but I like that they sprayed the Cybermen that like metallic silver. I've always liked that since I saw it in ads and VHSs. I've always thought it as kind of mythic, even though it has like no justification to feel mythic. It always feels quite mythic because it's kind of this lost little bit of nostalgia in my brain for an ad for Silver Nemesis. And Silver Nemesis is like the actual 25th anniversary or whatever, and it just pales. It pales in comparison to Big Remembrance, which is a shame. I don't think that the Daleks and the Cybermen need to be always kind of put in direct competition with each other because they're different concepts, and they're the number one and number two baddies in the show and everything, but it's kind of reductive. I like the word reductive. I feel like I use it quite wrongly a lot of the time, but it feels kind of reductive to always have them in direct competition, and it kind of comes up here with the kind of the McCoy, Dalek, and Cyberman episodes. I don't really feel that when I'm thinking about other Doctors, because with Colin Baker's Dalek episode, it's quite strong. It's very, very, very his kind of nasty Doctor kind of an ep, and so is his Cyberman one. That they're very similar in the same way that like these episodes are similar, but like Silver Nemesis is clearly the lesser of those two, which is a shame. I wish the Cyberman in Classic Who went out on like a stronger note, on like a stronger episode. But when you go back and watch it, like all the Classic Who Cybermen are kind of, the idea of them is that they're like a survival, like an evolution of humanity that is dedicated to survival, and there's only like a few of them about. So like in maybe Earthshock was the last time that the Daleks, the Cybermen were like truly about in numbers, like had a kind of big, impactful presence. Because like in Revenge of the Cybermen, they're just kind of like three of them at most, I want to say. And then there's a lot, I guess there's a lot of them about in Attack, but on screen at any one time, it's probably about three. And then like they just keep recycling the shots and that. But yeah, it's quite a dud in terms of like saying, because like Remembrance is such a good like last classic era Dalek story. Like it properly feels it, and it has a lot to do with like Scarrow is destroyed, Davros is he escapes, but he's dead for all intents and purposes at the end of that episode. Like it is the final end for the Daleks, and then they kind of do that in like Silver Nemesis, because it's a similar plot with like not the Hand of Omega. It's some lady, like a living metal thing, and like Time Lord living metal, I guess, is a good thing. Like there's an idea there because like Cybermen are metal men, so it's gesture and stuff, but it's very much just like this is kind of just the exact same, but nowhere near as good. It's like Remembrance, but with like half of the budget, basically, or even a tenth of the budget, and the same recycled ideas. I can still sit and watch it though. I think there's because like I still think that McCoy and Ace are like a great like TARDIS team, if I want to call them that, and very like charming and very kind of watchable. So it's not like the worst thing in the world. I know I've just went on about it for a while and probably shot it down a bit, but it's still pretty good. Still looking late era McCoy. Greatest show in the galaxy. I wanted to like more than I did because I heard it talked about He Who Moans, big He Who Moans, Stu Bagfield. He was talking. He talked it up. He talked a big game about Greatest Show in the Galaxy, and how it was very meta and how it was very like just kind of, it was about Doctor Who, and like I can see that, I can 100% see that it's kind of a commentary on itself, like a self commentary about how it's no longer the greatest show in the galaxy, and how like Doctor Who had kind of fallen from its like place in the hearts of British people's hearts. That's a sentence. Since like its heyday in the 60s and 70s and stuff, and to a lesser extent the early 80s, and it's very good at that. It's just I don't think that I enjoyed a lot of it. I kind of wanted its kind of meta self-analysis to be a little bit more on the nose. I know you don't really get a lot of that. I know there's a lot of people that be like want things to be more subtle and less, you know, heads on, but I could have done with that. It does feel like a very classic-y episode of Doctor Who. It's very like a scary circus, and I don't had they done a scary circus in Doctor Who before Greatest Show in the Galaxy? They probably have. Let me know in the comments, because I'm probably thinking of something completely obvious. But I can't. Well, I suppose Carnival of Monsters, is that a scary? I guess, but yeah. I think it's Greatest Show in the Galaxy in the part of the series because like Ace's whole character is like a part of her whole character is the Doctor has shown her like her fears and stuff, and she's afraid of clowns. I want to say that's what it was. It goes into a brilliant bit at the end where like the circus is like these Norse gods or something, and like the Doctor is like has to like have words with them and stuff. It's good. It's great stuff. I just didn't. I was kind of hyped for it, and I was really looking forward to it, and I really enjoyed getting to watch it last year on Twitch. But it didn't necessarily blow me away in the same way that I hoped it would, which I guess is a failure of my expectations, really, other than the episode. It's and it took a wee bit to get going because they have to go to the circus, they have to go to the thing. But I know it's definitely doing that. It's doing the self analysis, which is a kind of hallmark of Seven's era. Seven's very the Seventh Doctor's era is very kind of reflective on where the show's at, which is kind of completely because like Colin Baker's era doesn't start off like that at all, but then you do get Trial of a Time Lord, which is literally about the Doctor being on trial both in the show and outside the show. So it gets into that, but it's also in this kind of naff 80s way, and like the Seventh Doctor's era is a hard switch to the same kind of thing, but not in a naff-ish way, like in a kind of cooler kind of way, and a kind of more kind of they definitely got fresh blood on the writing team by that point. But what's after Greatest Show in the Galaxy? Battlefield. I still haven't seen Battlefield. I'm fine with this because I will see it one day. I might even see it tonight, to be honest. I might tune in and watch it. It's the one where Unit comes back. It's the first Unit episode in so many years or whatever. I don't have anything to say about it because I've not seen it. The Brigadier comes back. I hear there's Merlin-y stuff. I hear mixed things about it from people. I don't know if that's kind of kept me away from it before, actually, to be honest, because a lot of people hype it up and a lot of people don't hype it up at all, which I don't really know what to think about that, really. I will I've got the DVD, so even if I don't see it tonight, I will be seeing it at some point. I'm looking at my eyes because the eyes in these videos never really go where I want them to. Alright, so we'll skip that. Shameful, I know, but it's fine. Big Curse of Fenric. Well, is Ghostlight not on this? I'm going to assume Ghostlight's on this, and it's just a terrible schedule because like this schedule that I'm looking at on the Twitch page is pretty poor. I'm going to assume Ghostlight's on there. I can't remember. Is it Fenric then Ghostlight or Ghostlight then Fenric? I'm going to say Ghostlight first. Ghostlight is weird, man. It's a weird episode. People really like it. I like it. I can't say anything. There's like a caveman butler, and then this light god thing, and it's very confident in what it's doing. And I don't feel confident in my abilities to explain to you what happened in Ghostlight, really. I've seen it twice now. I saw it once on VHS and I saw it once on Twitch. and I'm still not quite clear what the plot was. Like I could tell you the things that happened, like with the ghost, the bloody like god thing, and I guess Ace's fear of like a house that she saw when she was a child that she burnt down. Like there's good stuff there, and there's good stuff like with Ace's character and her interactions with people. Like it's a fun, and it's like a really good kind of scary house Doctor Who, like Doctor Who, and it takes over like a period drama's set for the week and cranks out like a Doctor Who episode in its kind of pre-built thing. They don't have to put any money into it because it already exists, so they're just using what they already have. Always turns out great, and I love the effect of like 70s and 80s fire that it has on whatever they used to record it. If it was video or film, I can't tell, but fire. Look for fire in old BBC productions because there's always kind of a glow, and it just reminds me of being a youth. But I've honestly I've seen it twice now. I honestly couldn't tell you what happens in Ghostlight. I know there's a big glittery pantomime man that rocks up, and I think he was some kind of god thing. It's about fear and stuff and kind of horror, and the Doctor knows what's going on for most of it, and it's kind of it's more of a show don't tell kind of a thing, kind of. Like it tells you quite a lot, but it's also like you're kind of expected to get what's going on, and I don't know if I did get what was going on, to be honest. But I can't believe this schedule's wrong. Hopefully, I've not missed episodes, rendering this entire endeavor pointless. But I'm sure James would have told us. James in the chat would have let us know if we'd missed episodes. Curse of Fenric is really good. It's really good. It's very it feels like an almost 90s episode of Doctor Who. Like the last series of McCoy's Hoy. The last series of McCoy Hoy feels like it's getting into, because it's 89 or whatever, but it definitely feels like it's jutting towards what modern Who could have been if there was no break, if there was no hiatus. We'll talk about more of that when we get to Survival. But my abiding feelings with watching Curse of Fenric was how kind of cool that it looked. Like just the film, the shots, like the composition. There's a lot of kind of the Russian soldiers are characters in it, and it's set during the war, and the Russians, you would, even though I guess like they were the Allies or whatever, they're part of the Allies for however long. I'm not a big history buff. I don't really know much about kind of the politics of World War II, but they were on the Allies, weren't they? Yeah, they were. But you wouldn't know that necessarily from like films and TV, because immediately afterwards Russia was like vilified because of the whole communism thing. And you would expect in classic Who, when Russian soldiers come up in the 80s, you'd expect them to be portrayed as the bad guys, and they kind of are for a bit because they're like a sinister presence. But they're also not the bad guys. It's cool. It's a cool thing, and it's just very solid. It's very watchable, and it's kind of the accumulation of a lot of stuff that's going on in McCoy's Who, because McCoy's Who has stuff going on. It's almost like the opposite of the kind of fluffy, the nasty but fluffy nature of mid-period 80s Who, like Colin Baker, all the names, I'm always going to get them up. Colin Baker and stuff like that, where there wasn't really anything going on but like below the surface. And Colin Baker, I did it again. McCoy's Who has stuff going on because the Fenric arc is kind of bubbling away beneath different episodes. And that's quite ambitious for Classic Who at the time, I guess. I know they'd done like proper, like the Key to Time and E-Space, but like the Fenric stuff, I didn't know some of it, to be fair, when I was watching it back. So it's cool. It's cool to see that, really. And then the Doctor has some pretty dramatic chess to play in that game, in that episode. So we refer to it as Big Fenric. Fenric's a hell of a time. The set, the kind of costuming is really on point because it's a World War II set thing, and like there's like World War II era civilian zombie folk, like mer zombies. It's getting on for cosmic horror territory. They're clearly influenced by like H.P. Lovecraft and that kind of stuff. A lot of kind of zombie mer folk emerging from the depths, and There's like barnacle-y, vampire-y, zombie stuff. It's really good. It's something I should probably talk about at length, like a proper review. I know I've been hinting about that for a couple of episodes now, but I think we're going to start that. And then it's just survival. Like, it's been a month. It's been less than a month. It's been 21 days. And in 21 days, we've watched all of Classic Who. I mean, I haven't, because I've just dipped in and out for episodes that I wanted to have a wee peek at it. I've not even properly watched like an entire full episode in this entire time, really. I just had like a full story. I mean, like, I've just sat and watched stuff that I enjoy and like maybe dipped into something I've not seen that much. But we're here and it's over. Survival's great. Survival's great. It's a really interesting episode of Doctor Who, not just because it's the last episode, but because it feels like there's a direct line between Survival and Rose. You can watch Survival and you can be like not surprised that like New Who turns out the way it is. Like there's a whole kind of because it's like set on like council estates kind of stuff, and there's like it's about Ace going home and like her like pals and kind of home life, and you can totally see where the missing evolution of Doctor Who would take you. Because like when like New Who came back, people were kind of, I want to say like, you know, I don't know what the right word is. They weren't shocked, but they were like, "Oh, Doctor Who's got a leather jacket and it's like council estates," and you're like, "Aye, like Survival was the last thing that happened." You can kind of, it feels like 1-to-1 almost, or like one and then there's a missing 2 and then a 3, but it doesn't feel that far apart, is what I'm getting at. And yes, Survival is about cat people, like cheetah people to be specific, and yes, those costumes might be not the greatest thing in Doctor Who. They might look quite adorable and not at all viciously murderous. And it's kind of weird to see them riding horses, but it's fine. The Master is it's the last Master appearance, and I think the Master kind of feels like an added in thing. Like they weren't sure about the kind of cat people angle, and they wanted some recognition. And it is the only McCoy Master episode, I want to say. I really like that. I really like the vibe of how the Master blew through all of his lives, and then you see like Dialgo or whatever is Three's nemesis. But then when the Master comes back, he doesn't blow through anybody's. It's Anthony Ainsley or whatever. I'm terrible with names. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I really like the vibe of he just keeps coming back every year and like meeting 5, 6, and 7, and he's not blown through any of his lives. He's still got his Keeper of Traken body, and the Doctor keeps regenerating. There's something weird about that. There's something like if that show was made today, that wouldn't be the case. It'd be the villain blowing through his lives. But I like that. Like it's odd. It's needlessly odd. It's unavoidably needlessly odd. But yeah, Survival. It's got a wee cat that can flit between dimensions. I love that idea. That's really funny. It's got like an appearance by like a late 80s comedy duo that I don't know of and don't understand the significance or relevance of. So their scenes to me are very, very odd, very, very confusing and needless. But it's a very good. I wish Doctor Who wasn't cancelled, but I can see that it needed a break. To be honest, I'm going to be that horrible guy and say, I can see Doctor Who taking a rest. I don't think it should necessarily have had as long as the rest of it did, but it did kind of not benefit from it. But like when New Who came back, it was more of a thing because Doctor Who was back, and I can see it. I would never like say Doctor Who should be cancelled again and wait 15 years and then come back for more for New Who, but I'm not opposed to like little breaks like it's taken this year. So Survival is quite emotional. It's kind of showing the way forward, and it's like this is what Doctor Who could be if we continue. But we know that it's the end of Classic Who, and it's the end of that kind of style in that era. And I think As a youth, I wasn't into survival being the last episode because I was like, what, that one about the cat people? But the older I grow, the more into survival I get because it is very. It's called bloody survival. Like, how perfect is that? And then, like, the kind of episode that it's connected to isn't necessarily directly connected to being like, because they didn't know it was going to be the last one. I think the new Ghostlight was going to be the last one, and so that's why Ghostlight's mad. Like, that's why it's all like just as insane as it can possibly be because they're already cancelled. So they're just going for it, which is commendable. But in it not being about the last, because like if they had made it to be like this is the last step, there'd have probably been like Daleks and Cybermen and like epic wars for existence. It just feels like a classic episode. Like it feels like an episode, which I think is quite a good way to go out. Like and then they add that like the tea's getting cold speech on there at the end, and you know it gets you here, gets you in the lungs every time. Doctor Who, man, it's really good. It's a hell of a time picking favourites for this kind of thing. What to watch? If Ghostlight is on, gonna watch Ghostlight. Gonna watch do a double header: Ghostlight and Curse of Fenric. Those are my picks for the night. And then Monster of the Night, Creature of the Night. I would say is that cat. Well, no, we'll give it to the Candyman. The Candyman is a lot better than enraged young people or even middle-aged people, or people of comedy making age in the 90s give it credit for, because he's cool. Like, go look at the Candyman. He looks great. Like, he looks every inch the kind of terrifying Bertie Bassett man that he was designed to be. It's not like they went out of their way to make something scary and like, oh, original. It's like they knew what they were doing, and I think they did it pretty well. Thanks for watching, James, because I know you've watched every episode of this, and I hope I've brought you some amount of fun and joy and words on in the background while you do your work. It's been very fun. Like, I had a series on my other channel a while back called Awful Waffle, and it was born out of the idea that I could totally just do 10 minutes of vlogs every day forever, because that was what was popular. That was what the algorithm on YouTube was demanding at the time. And I was like, I could totally do that. And I think I gave up after 8 days. We've done 21 days of well over 10 minutes each night, sometimes into an hour. And I feel like this is where I get to toot my own horn. I know I probably did it a couple of days back, but I'm pretty chuffed by this. I've had a lot of fun. Like, I've enjoyed. It has made January just fly by. I don't know what it is. Like, February is probably going to feel pretty long now, even though it's the shortest month. But yeah, thanks for watching. It's been great. I think we've had a lot of fun. I think we've learned a lot of lessons along the way. I think we've learned a lot of little interesting little factoids about, like, you know, Rory and his CITV presenting days and other things that I can't remember because, good lord, this video series is outrageously long. But yes, I've found out that I just don't know how to end videos, which I didn't know about myself before this. I mean, I did, but this has brought it into sharp focus. The lighting on this one has probably been horrendous, but I'm very intrigued by my ghostly white face just looming in. See, if I could edit videos, I would just do like the kind of Doctor Who like vortex shot, because I'm a big like noggin smashing into screen. We've got a lot of projects on the horizon. After today, there won't be daily Doctor Who videos because Twitch is done. I don't know what Twitch is going into. I've not been really keeping up to date with that. I've not been seeing the in-betweens. So I don't know what the next marathon is. If it's something incredible, maybe we'll be back. But much more likely I'll take a wee break. And then I think I'm going to compile all of my Doctor Who thoughts into a more cohesive and watchable and entertaining form. Andrew Marr, if you're listening, I'm going to hunt you down. And you're going to edit things for me, because you can edit. And boy, howdy, I can just grasp you and make you do things. Aye. Thanks for watching. I've got a lot of plans on the horizon. That's what we're talking about. There is going to be Season 11 roundtable discussion potentially probably audio only on season 11, on the last season of Doctor Who. We did an episode, we did a big podcast for each episode, and now we're going to compile all our thoughts down with friends and talk about where it went right and where it went wrong. And because time has this effect on you, I've completely mellowed on it, and I think it was vaguely fine now. So I'm going to see if that conflicts with David and the other guests, because I feel like a lot of people have taken the after time of Doctor Who, or after season 11, to kind of, build the momentum of it being really, really bad. And as time has gone on, as the month has gone on, I've just been like, oh yeah, that was a very happy time in my life. I enjoyed talking about it. There was some pretty bad episodes, but there was also some average episodes. So it's hard to talk about, I guess. But yes, we're going to look out for that. So, thanks for watching. I'll probably be back tomorrow talking about some random guff. Bye. We're going to do the awkward